Peppa story. So, as y'all remember, Salt and Peppa had filed a suit against Universal Music Group over the rights of their catalog, saying that the label had pulled the duo's songs from streaming platforms as they attempted to regain control of their masters. Well, the judge basically, at New York's Southern District Court, basically ruled in UMG's favor. So the case has been dismissed. And when I was hearing about this whole situation regarding, because remember when we did the show the last time, this was actually the one that Cleveland sent in the thing. It was about, oh, I got something for you that you should probably look at, whatever the case. So I totally forgot about the whole Salt-N-Pepa case because I didn't even know what was going on. But they came to a conclusion, and to be honest, this is some BS. Like, I don't understand like how a group that has played a prominent role in female rap, they're like the icons in female rap, that have that have been in the game for over 3 decades. Like, I grew up on Salt-N-Pepa, and I was a kid when they came out, like in the era of like what them and TLC and all these other type of groups. And for them to be like, well, you put these people, you get them caught up in these crappy contracts where they're literally slaves to a horrible record. And if you go back and look at a lot of people's record deals, they're all trash. And I think a lot of these artists don't even understand like a lot of the jargon that's in those contracts, where they want you to be beholden and talking about that, they give you this advance. The label has to recoup this music. But at what point have I 30 years in the game have put out music, the albums have gone platinum, double platinum, triple platinum, some have gone diamond. I'm just speaking in general. They've gone diamond. I've done all the work. I've toured my ass off, still out here doing shows, because Salt-N-Pepa definitely gets out there and tours still. And then I have nothing to show for it. I still can't own my masters. The label still wants to have me beholden to these slave contracts. So that pisses me off. So, according to the Associated Press, a federal judge dismissed the pioneering hip-hop group Salt-N-Pepa's lawsuit to reclaim ownership of their master recordings from UMG. U.S. District Judge Denise Cote on Thursday sided with the recording giant. Well, there's a special place in hell for her stupid ass, arguing that the Grammy-winning group never owned the copyrights to their sound recordings and didn't transfer them to anyone else. Plaintiffs could only terminate copyright transfers that they executed. None of the contracts identified by plaintiffs indicate that they ever owned the master tapes. UMG argued that the recordings were works made for hire, which would not allow for the reclaiming of rights. Salt-N-Pepa's lawsuit said their agreements with the label made it clear that they were not. Now, even with the court's complete rejection of their claims, we remain open and willing to find a resolution to the matter and turn the page so we can focus our efforts on working together to amplify Salt-N-Pepa's legacy for generations to come. This, according to UMG. Well, my thing is this: why don't you give them their recordings? Like, to me, I feel like if you sign a crappy deal, which a lot of times these artists don't know to get your own entertainment lawyer. A lot of times the label will be like, oh no, use our lawyer, but not realizing the artist be so wet behind it. Oh, okay, because they have my best interest at heart. No, the fuck they don't. Let me tell you, these labels only care about their bottom line and their money. So if they pick their entertainment lawyer to represent you, they're not technically representing you. They're representing the label. So when you get your own entertainment lawyer and they look over the paperwork and everything and they realize there's quite a couple of kinks in the armor, then that's going to make them look a certain way. This is why I say at this day and age, labels ain't shit. They're not really developing artists. And what you need to do is, I know it's a harder road traveled, and I know it's difficult to get up that hill or whatever the case is. Running up that hill. I don't know why Susie Sue just popped in my head. But oh wait, sorry, Kate Bush. I said Susie Sue, child. Kate Bush. I don't know why that, when it comes down to it, people think that being on a label that is going to help you in some sort of way. Now, in the day of the social media and internet and all the other stuff, to me, that's your marketing tool. Get out there, hire a photographer to do your photo, your promo photos, album covers, all that stuff. If you want to find a way to create lyric books or whatever the case is, so people can read the lyrics or whatever, you do that. There's ways that you can upload your music all on the social media platforms like Spotify and Apple Music, that sort of thing. I know it's a lot harder to release things independently, but if you really want to make a name for yourself and get yourself out there and do smaller venues so you can grow and build that audience that will follow you wherever, you're going to have to put in the work. And unfortunately, you got to spend all that money because these labels, you'll be cut to them for the rest of your life. But at least at the end of the day, you own your work, you own your masters, you own all your product. And it's unfortunate that, like, with almost 4 decades in the game, these ladies have to deal with this BS from a label that don't want to give them their hard work to be able to make money off of. I remember Robert said, I think it wasn't that said this, that this is karma for how they treated Spinderella. But here's the thing, for now, Spinderella, Salt-N-Pepa are on good terms. Spinderella revealed this because she went on Funky Dinevah's show and did an interview, and she mentioned that I think it was some type of, I think, was it the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or something or another? They were supposed to meet up there, and she said she was nervous or whatever. But I think, and this was like before they had to film for that. But she had mentioned that the ladies were in a good place at this point. So I'm glad that they've all managed to work it. And because to me, Spinderella is every part of Salt-N-Pepa, you know, even though they don't want to openly admit that. And funny enough, Wendy Williams said at one point they wanted her to be the Spinderella of their group before they went with Spinderella. So they wanted her to be the DJ. So yeah, the Queen of New York duo of Cheryl Saul James and Sandra Pepper Denton became Salt-N-Pepa in '85. They were later joined by Spinderella, who was not part of the early agreements under dispute and is not involved in the lawsuit. Salt-N-Pepa signed with Next Plateau Records and released their debut album Hot, Cool, and Vicious in '86. Next Plateau was an independent label at the time, and it's now under the banner of Universal Republic label. Some of the group's hits include 1993's Shoop and 1987's Push It, which means basically Next Plateau got swallowed up by Universal. Now, in '95, they became the first female rap group to win a Grammy, and in 2021, they received a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. In November, they followed Missy Elliott as the second female hip hop act at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, handling the Influence Award. So that's how iconic they are. And for them to be treated like this by UMG, y'all ain't ish. Just for that. But for the Drake stuff, I'm all here for. Now, at the podium during the induction ceremony, James noted that the groups, they said James noted the group's legal fight. She said, "This is the influence award. We have to keep using our influence until the industry honors creativity the way the audience does, with love, respect, and fairness." Now, in their lawsuit, Salt-N-Pepa claimed that the 1976 Copyright Act gives artists the right to reclaim ownership of master recordings and terminate past agreements after 35 years. So if they are, when did they form? Well, they came out in '86, right? So 1986, we're in 2026, it's been 40 years. So after 35 years, I could have sworn that, yeah, there is the thing that after 35 years, that past shit was terminated, or it should have been. So why they can't get their money or whatever the case was. So I don't know. I guess you're gonna need a new contract, whatever the case is, or I guess, or look, here's another thing. Maybe I need to pull a Taylor Swift and re-record y'all stuff and basically get people to go over there and listen to that and don't give UMG a dime of the original stuff, because they removed everything from, was it they removed when I went on there to look up the music or whatever, because I was like, yeah, that is true, a lot of their songs is not up there to listen to. So that might be the way to go. You might have to re-record y'all stuff and get people to listen to that and not listen to the original versions of the songs. So that's the way I say go through it. Because I think at this point, I don't know if people want to hear new music from Salt-N-Pepa. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this latest story regarding Salt-N-Pepa? I'm sure there'll be more. Who knows? They did say they're going to appeal it. So I'll keep you abreast of that story once we cross that bridge. But in the meantime, I definitely want to hear from y'all regarding this story. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.